Hey everyone, I'm Andy,
And I'm Sean.
and it's the Commander's Brew.
This week, the first sliver.
Hey everyone, thanks for checking us out here on YouTube. It's the Commander's Brew, and if you like what we're doing around here, you can help us out very easily just by smashing subscribe. Everyone says it, and it's great. It really does help. So check us out, subscribe if you like the stuff that's going on around here. You can help us out directly too if you want. Patreon.com/Commander's Brew. Great place to get involved. You can donate directly, help us make the episodes, and literally help us make the episodes by joining our Discord and giving us suggestions for cards when we brew in there with everyone around there, and it's a lot of fun. So I highly recommend checking it out. Patreon.com/Commander's Brew. The Discord's there, other perks as well. Check it out. But we're gonna get into the deck tech today, Sean. I'm excited about this one. This one is it's like our concept album. I feel like this is
Yeah.
we occasionally have episodes kind of like this where it's like it's a higher concept, and I don't know if it's practical at all, but it sure was fun to think about. And this is the idea that, I'll start from the start here and let you know that what we're brewing around this week was the idea that wish boards don't exist in Commander. They strictly rules wise, they do not exist. We're not allowed to have them. There are no sideboards in Commander. However, Rule 0, as we all know about Commander, is basically make up any rule you want. If your group agrees on it, you can do whatever you want. The idea about Commander is that we're all here to have fun. It's a social game, multiplayer. Let's have a fun time. So if you can get in a group where everyone is loose and people don't mind about wish boards, great. You can run those wish boards cards. I would suggest in general that you don't run those wish board cards to break the game, and I don't think anyone would really do that. Anyways, I don't even see how that's really possible. So what I got to thinking though was we know that online digital games like Hearthstone and others, what's the Eternal, right? They have a real leg up on Magic in one sense, and that is that they can truly have a card say like generate a random card from all of the existence of this game and put it in your hand, right? That is a digital advantage that those cards have, and I guess like technically Arena could do that too, and it could be a thing in Magic, but obviously they want to keep consistency with the paper game as much as possible. But we don't have that ability. The closest thing we have to that ability is wish boards, right? We get to do this thing of bringing a card from outside the game, which is how it's referred to, but that's not. It just means sideboard. But I got to thinking like this random idea, this randomization from outside of the game. What if we allowed wish boards, which isn't a radical thing. I think you'll find that most people in Commander are okay with wish boards, but we ourselves choose to make it random. I will wish for a card, and I won't get to choose like it says on the card. Well, technically I am choosing. This was pointed out in the Discord. So this is my concept here, is that the thing is we don't even actually have to change any rules other than like the wishboard rule, obviously. But I originally pitched this as like a like rule change. Like instead of choosing, you get it randomly. But actually, you can just choose randomly. You just put them all face down and then just like grab one. There you go. You chose this one. No one says you have to choose them face up, right? That idea was brought by. Oh, I should have wrote that down. That idea was brought by someone specific in the Discord channel, and I don't have them right now, but it was. I'll read the names later, and it was certainly one of those people. Okay. Anyways, so this is what we're building around. This is what we're doing. We're going to come with a wish board, and we're going to have the wish cards, and we're going to get those randomly. Now there's one other way to play this, okay? And luckily, what I've built here can go either way very easily. So I've decided to do this thing where I'm going to bring a wish board. I'm going to bring a certain amount of cards, and like they say it's only, they say it's 15. For this version, we actually want it to be bigger because certain wishes only get sorceries or certain ones only get instants, and you want to have like a pile ready to go for those. You know what I mean? Like you can't just choose actual randomly because it only gets a certain type. The other way to do this, which is very interesting, I think, is to make it truly random, and you use an online source like Scryfall, and they have a random button on their website. So you hit random, and then you hit it until you get like that type of card comes up. So if it's like search for, if it's like
I'll do it right now.
Great. Okay,
what
so Sean,
kind of card?
Wish for let's do Burning Wish, the classic. Get a sorcery, a random sorcery card from outside the game and put it into your hand.
Okay, I'm gonna hit random until I get a sorcery. 2 down, no sorceries. Okay, I got Sift. 3 in a blue, sorcery, draw 3 cards,
there
then discard a card.
So what you do is you then use, we've seen them, we use them a lot. They're really great. You can get them on Amazon. They're just like blank playing cards. And you can just take a Sharpie and write right on there what that is. So you can just write Swift. You can just write Sift, write the mana cost. Just a brief little, draw 2, discard 1, whatever it is you need to write, right? There you go. Bam. Pop that in your hand. Now, obviously, you'll be able to tell, but whatever. This is a loose game of Commander. It's a fun game we're playing here. So you're not going to shuffle this back into your hand or anything like that. Like if that's, let's say if that's the rule, then like that card just disappears or something. Like someone makes you shuffle it or something like that. Anyways, I get it that there's some ins and outs with the rules here, but this is a fun way to do it, right? Like put that in your hand, and now all of a sudden now you've got this random card.
Let me do another. Give me another type.
Okay. Now do a random multicolored. I believe it's Glittering Wish.
This might take a second.
Yeah, this one might take a sec. But this is not the version I ultimately decided to talk about today, because I don't know. I guess there's other weird things going on with the rules. But you essentially get like a token in your hand. You could try this out with a play group that is that's up for this sort of thing. I think it's really fun. I think it's an interesting and cool aspect to it. You'll see with the rest of the deck how we work, with random stuff and how it goes. But Sean, judging by your face, it looks like you got something.
I didn't get a multicolor card, but what are the odds of this? My second card in, Basic Mountain, specifically from original Zendikar, and then 3 cards later, Basic Mountain from Dominaria. What are the odds?
That's
out
probably
of all the random cards in Magic?
It's higher than any other thing happening, isn't it?
Well, I mean,
so
maybe then
lands.
But like 2 mountains out of like 14,000 or whatever. I'm just blown away. Like that. Just
how
seems
many
like it should be.
mountains are there? There's 5 every set, so that's a lot of mountains.
I guess it just seems astounding to me.
Anyways.
Not a different basic land. Still looking though. I'm 10 deep. No multicolor.
All right, so it comes. It's whatever. Anyways. That's not the version we're going with. That's just an even higher concept idea that I was like, hey, you could really do a truly random thing. But so what are we doing with commanders, and what are we doing with colors and all this type of stuff? So let's go with what we decided to do when it comes to commanders, and that is the first sliver. It's a 5-color commander, and again, we wanted to include. There was a moment where I almost cut 1 or 2 colors, but we wanted all the wish cards, so we got to go 5 colors. Oddly enough, the color that I was like almost most inspired by, which was black and Mastermind's Acquisition, is the card that has the least amount of like wishes that make sense. Their old wish card is like you have to like lose half your life or something, so like it's not good. But anyways, so first sliver is what we landed on, and it's a little bit of a preview into some later stuff from the deck. Sean, why don't you read us the first sliver here?
Sure. The first sliver is a Wooburg commander. 5 mana, 1 of each. Legendary 7/7 sliver. And it has Cascade. And it says that sliver spells you cast have Cascade. Cascade is if you cast something from your hand with Cascade, then you flip your library until you get something that costs less. And when you do, you cast that spell. So you may cast that spell.
Yeah, you may. So that's like that's like getting another random card. So not every single thing in this deck is random. Obviously, when you play the first sliver, you get the 7/7. You get a creature card. And because I didn't want it to be that level of chaos where we never know what we're playing. We still want to have a bit of a plan and a bit of a strategy, but we just want to generate some random fun things, right? So when I talk about the actual wish board later, which will come after everything, we'll see, what's going on there. Basically, it's just pick whatever you want, but I'll talk about it later. Anyways, so first sliver is great because it has this cool, like, kind of on theme random effect, and it's 5 colors. Another one that kind of fits is Golos, because you can spin Golos for the 7 mana, and you kind of get like 3 random things off the top of your deck or whatever. But we just did a Golos deck, so first sliver seemed fun, and I like the idea that cascading is just one random card. Golos is like, a lot of value there. So obviously we're doing 5 colors. We gotta be fixed. We gotta be ramping, because we want to make sure that whenever we get, if the thing we get out of our wish board is some 7 mana spell, we want to be able to cast it. And if it's double black, we want to be able to cast it. So we really got to make sure our mana is fixed. But one thing you can do with this particular deck is lean a little heavier on Teamer colors, because we kind of included a little bit of a cascade package, and just because of the nature of these spells, Teamer shows up a lot more often. So the signets that you're going to pick, like, we didn't just slam every signet in this deck, like, but we included the Teamer ones. Gruul signets in there. All the signets are the same. For anyone who's brand new to signets, they're 2 mana artifacts, and you pay 1 and tap them, and then they generate 2 mana of that, like, guild's colors. So Gruul makes red green. And then, like, Spinning Wheel is a cool, just like one that I haven't included in a lot of decks, but I think it's okay. It's a little bit of defense on this one. Spinning Wheel is 3 mana artifact. Tap it for any color, and then you pay 5 and tap it to tap target creature. So if some big, nasty thing's coming after you and you have a bunch of mana left, you can Spinning Wheel it. But we're just looking to fix our colors, obviously, and that's the basics. That's normal. That's what we need to do. When we're talking about the base of the deck, though, we're talking about the wishes. So let's actually look at some of the traditional wishes, the ones that really inspired the deck.
I mean, is this the original wish? Burning Wish? I don't know what the original. It's
the one that
is.
Gets used the most, I think, like in competitive play. But yeah, I don't know which one came first. Actually, it's a good question.
Yeah, so Burning Wish is a 1 and a red sorcery. You may choose a sorcery card you own from outside the game. You may reveal it, put it into your hand, and exile Burning Wish. The may is the choose part. Everything else you have to do once you're doing that. Another wish is Mastermind's Acquisition. Doesn't have wish in the game. This is the one from Ixalan. It's 2 black. It's like a modified tutor, right? So it's 2 black, tutor up a card from your deck, or grab a card from your sideboard and put it into your hand from outside the game. And Fae of Wishes from Eldraine. 1 and a white for a 1/4 flying fairy wizard. You can pay 1 and a blue, I meant to say. You can pay 1 and a blue to discard 2 cards in return. Fae of Wishes to its owner's hand. But they've got that adventure clause where you can also cast this from your hand for wish granted. 3 and a blue, sorcery. You can choose any non-creature card from outside the game, reveal it, put it into your hand. Could be Basic Mountain. Would you do that if you were doing it? If you do it randomly, Basic Mountain is a non-creature card.
Well, because we've made it so that we're choosing randomly from our own sideboard of wish stuff, I wouldn't.
If you're doing the Scryfall
I wouldn't include
way?
a Basic Mountain in there. If I was doing the Scryfall way, hey man, you get what you get.
Okay.
That's the fun of it. Yeah, so these are 3 kind of different types, but they all sort of look the same. Burning Wish being very specific, Mastermind being anything, and then you get Fae of Wishes, which is on a creature and recurable and only non-creature stuff. Living Wish, like I said, glittering Wish or something. There's a bunch of different ones. There's a green-white one. There's a green one. There's a white one. There's the white one gets artifacts and enchantments. The blue one gets instants. The red one, as we just said, gets sorceries. There's a green-white one that gets multicolored spells. There is another black one, but like I said, I think you have to pay like half your life when you do it. It's like, it's not really worth it. We have enough of them that we can not pick that one. And then we have Fae of Wishes, and we have a lot of other ways too. So some of the other ways, again, from some recent sets too. We have Vivian, Arcbow Ranger, 1 green. So 5-color deck. Got to make sure we cast that triple green planeswalker. But it's 4 loyalty. You can +1 to distribute 2 +1/+1 counters among up to 2 target creatures. They gain trample. -3, target creature you control deals damage equal to its power to target creature or planeswalker. or -5, which is not too hard to get. You plus her up, and then you do it. You may choose a creature card you own from outside the game, reveal it, put it into your hand. And then we also have Karn, the Great Creator, which is a little easier to do because it's 4 colorless. He has a static ability, which is kind of a rough one, so people might be looking to get rid of this card. Yeah. Activated abilities of artifacts your opponent's control can't be activated, so that's tough. 5 loyalty, +1 until your next turn, up to 1 target non-creature artifact. Becomes an artifact creature with power and toughness each equal to its converted mana cost. We're not really here for that. We're here for the -2. You may choose an artifact card you own from outside the game or in exile, reveal that card, and put it into your hand. So we wish for an artifact with Karn, we wish for a creature with Vivian. Just 2 other ways to do it. Again, these guys are a little more repeatable, although Vivian's kind of tough. But Karn, you can usually get 1 to 2. I mean, you can definitely get 1. Ideally, we can get 2 at least off of him. We can get a random artifact because we are choosing randomly.
I just spinned a random Scryfall artifact, and I got Mind Stone.
Okay, so that's something. They're not all going to be winners. They're not all going to be slam the door game-winning plays. It
reminds me of Momer Vig in a way.
Yes, exactly. And again, in the version that we're doing, in the other version, Sean's taking the Scryfall version, and I'm taking we've built our own version. A lot of fun artifacts we can have in here. Big things like Panharmonicon and all kinds of things like that, right down to just value artifacts that are going to be, that can even draw us more cards, and I don't know, whatever it is you like. You can
Sounds
even
like you're talking about Mind Stone.
I totally am. You can even have like your individual boards, do like all kind of work towards a theme. Even that's kind of fun because then you're looking to play the same types of cards. Anyways, the world's your oyster when you're playing with this deck. So that's the base. That's where we're working from. That's where we're starting. So now let's take a look at the neat moves.
Working on a neat moves.
Okay, so the neat moves here are going to be some of our other random effects. Sean, did you find another card?
It's hard to use Scryfall to find what you're looking for. I finally found my first multicolor card, but I can't find another artifact.
What was the multicolored?
Savage-born Hydra. It's X. If it comes into play automatically, it would come in.
No, it doesn't.
It doesn't. So then, it's great. Yeah, great. Yeah. Savage-born Hydra. The double striking red-green one.
All right, okay. So that's pretty good. Great thing to include in your wish board. The neat moves here are going to be just other ways that this deck is going to work, and the other things we're doing besides grabbing random stuff from our wish board. So we thought, when we're brewing with Discord, it'd be fun to have some other random effects. Again, not so much affecting our opponents. I don't want to create a chaos deck. I don't want people's plays to turn into other stuff. I'm not interested in that. I'm interested in putting resources in and getting something out of it. I just don't know what. And again, we can mitigate it by bringing our own wish boards, or we can make sure we have stuff like these things. So first up, Sean, take these 3 here.
Deadbridge Chant, 4 black, green enchantment. When it enters the battlefield, put the top 10 cards of your library into your graveyard, and then in your upkeep, you choose a card at random in your graveyard. If it's a creature, it goes right onto the battlefield. Otherwise, it goes into your hand. Very fun card. Expensive, but that's a powerful effect. You're either drawing a card from your graveyard every turn or getting a free creature. I don't mind that.
Yeah.
Fossil Find. It's a multicolor Gruul hybrid. So it's 1 CMC Gruul sorcery. Return a card at random from your graveyard to your hand, and then reorder your graveyard as you choose.
As you choose.
Back when, but from this deck, though, I recommend shuffling your graveyard and putting it back in that order.
Absolutely, yes. Yeah.
And then finally, Tariel, Reckoner of Souls, 4 white, black, red, Angel, Flying, Vigilance, 4/7, tap. Choose a creature card at random from target opponent's graveyard. Put that card onto the battlefield under your control. Fun.
Yeah, fun. It's oddly enough, and this wasn't even planned, but I guess the only way to truly do random effects like this is like from a graveyard. Or I guess you could do it from a library. It just feels like it would be too hard to how you decide randomly. You know what I mean? So I guess these effects show up a little more when we're talking about graveyard stuff. So yeah, it just turns out that between Deadbridge, Chant, Fossil Find, and Teriel, we're just grabbing random things from graveyards, which seems fine.
Neat.
We also have some pseudo random effects, and it's around this part of the brewing process that I kind of realized that I was like, hey, wait a sec. Just drawing a card is kind of random. You don't know what's on top of there most of the time.
Yeah.
So it's like, so what we're doing here is now we're just kind of like getting cards from our deck, but in a random way, in a the closest thing paper magic can do to random. So pseudo random effects like Throes of Chaos, right? I talked about Cascade off the top because of our commander. Well, Throes of Chaos is a cool one because it's just 3 and a red for a sorcery with Cascade, and then it has a retrace. So like this card doesn't actually do anything itself at all. It's 3 and a red to, again, do nothing. But Cascade triggers, so you'll get the next thing down from your deck. That's 4 or less? Because is it 3 or less?
Well, it would have to be 3 or less.
Has to cost less, yeah. So it's 3 or less. But then you can retrace it, which is cool because retraces, you can cast this from your graveyard by discarding a land card and paying its mana cost. So we can get cascading a few other times. Interesting. I thought Cascade had to be from hand, but for this one,
no, it does.
Did they change the rules?
No. Oh, wait
no,
a
it doesn't.
minute.
It just says when you cast this spell. Weird.
Okay, because
I guess they must have changed it. I thought it had to be from hand.
I thought so too.
But it looks like Throes of Chaos just changed the Cascade rule. And by just, I mean, like a year ago? And probably everyone already talked about this. In fact, we've had this on the show before, and maybe even we talked about it.
Yeah.
Anyways, so Throes of Chaos is there for that ability. So it's kind of random. Next, we also have Mind's Desire. This is actually a really good one. For blue sorcery, shuffle your library, then exile the top card of your library. Until end of turn, you may play that card without paying its mana cost, and she's got Storm. So, we got enough stuff in this deck that we can get a lot of mana sometimes. And I played it's funny because I played a test game with this, fully not being able to actually use the wish spells because you can't create a sideboard for those commander games. But I just wanted to see it and play it out and just see, how the actual deck itself kind of ran. And I was actually able to get off a pretty decent Mind's Desire because of some of these strategies working together. So, something like Cascade and like that lets you cast an extra card. There's some other effects in here that let you cast things without paying their mana. So actually, Mind's Desire, I was able to sometimes get. I got a Mind's Desire like 3 copies of it or something like. And when we're talking about, obviously this isn't a Storm deck, but that's actually pretty good for 6 mana to be able to get 3, cards from your library just cast for free. So it actually works out pretty good. And then
finally, figured out the Cascade issue.
Oh, what is it?
We're thinking of Yidris, whose extra ability only affects cards cast from your hand.
Oh, that's
cards that have built-in Cascade will cascade from any zone.
Okay, well there you go. True commander heads, commander players. Us, we only thought of the one guy, like not even. We only thought of the 4-color commander that has different rules on it.
Yeah.
Treasure Hunt is in here also. 1 and a blue for the sorcery. Reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal a non-land card. Then put all cards revealed this way into your hand. So we get a bunch of stuff, and it kind of randomly stops. Which that was a fun suggestion from Discord as well. So. Really cool. Another neat move that we can pull off is we can use our opponent's cards randomly. Our opponent's decks can kind of be our random wish board using a couple of these cards.
Oh, one of my faves, Mind's Dilation. 5 blue for an enchantment. Whenever an opponent casts their first spell each turn, they exile the top card of their library, and if it's non-land, you may cast it without paying its mana cost. that goes at any like timing things, creatures, whatever. That's a fun one. That one really raises some ire. I know that's true.
It's great.
Stolen Strategy, 4 and a red for an enchantment. At the beginning of your upkeep, exile the top card of each opponent's library, and then you're able to cast those this turn, and you can pay mana as though it were mana of any color. It's kind of like temporary increasing your hand off of other people's decks. And Chaos Wand, a personal favorite, 3 generic for an artifact, and it has the ability 4 and a tap. Target opponent exiles cards until they hit an instant or sorcery. You may cast it without paying for it, and then put the exiled cards on the bottom in a random order.
I love it. I mean, we talked about, you talk about Mind's Dilation. We love this card from the get-go, right from the jump. We talked about it a ton. Obviously, this is a huge commander card. Did you know that it's getting really expensive?
I hadn't clocked the price in a long time, but it doesn't surprise me.
It's getting expensive, and by getting there, it's like $7 to $9 depending on where you look. Which, hey, if you're listening to Commander's Brew back then, you would have known to snap a bunch of these up when they were $1, less around $2. I remember.
Did you Thanos snap them up?
I did Thanos snap them up. Stolen Strategy, yeah, just like extends our hand, like you said. And Chaos Wand is fantastic, and I think the conventional wisdom on Chaos Wand is to obviously, like anything, instant speed right before your turn. But if someone's casting a big spell, maybe Chaos Wand, the person right as that spell's resolving, so that maybe you can, if you happen to hit a counter spell, you can actually use it. Because that's the bummer. The bummer with Chaos Wand is like, oh, I hit negate. Okay. But obviously that that's a super super fun card, and using our opponent's libraries like that is a lot of fun. And outside of Mind's Dilation too, like not counting that one, people like don't care as much that you're using their spells. They more care about the fact that you're getting value. It's not like a thing where I steal your creature, where it's like I've already invested the mana in this and like now I'm losing it. It doesn't draw quite as much ire. Mind's Dilation tends to, because you get the stuff for free, so you don't
the value's too good. You
don't have to pay anything aside from the 7 mana. Right. Okay. So there's actually some other interesting things here. So I'm actually going to jump ahead one, and Sunbird's Invocation is kind of you doing this to your own deck. It's kind of like an interesting pseudo cascade, but you actually kind of get to choose. But there's kind of a random element to it because you don't know what you'll do. This one I almost didn't include because, because of how it works. I'll read it. It's 5 and a red. It's an enchantment. Whenever you cast a spell from your hand, reveal the top X cards of your library, where X is that spell's converted mana cost. You may cast a card revealed this way with converted mana cost X or less, without paying its mana cost. Put the rest on the bottom of your library to random order. Such a fun card. We love, same thing. We love this card. This is on the same level of Mind's Dilation for us. You do get to choose here. So I just felt like it was on theme with a lot of the other stuff that the deck is doing, so that we can kind of reach a little bit outside of the pure randomness, even though it is still kind of random what's on the top of your deck, right? But here's a cool one. This one, build your own wish board, everyone. Build your own wish board. But Andy, I brought a wish board. You specifically told me to bring a wish board of like 30 cards, and I did. Well, how about this? Skyship Weatherlight. 4 mana for the legendary artifact. It's from, what set is this from? Weatherlight? I can't scroll down and see. What is it?
Plane Shift? I don't know.
Weird. It's the legendary artifact before vehicles. It says, when Skyship Weatherlight enters the battlefield, search your library for any number of artifact and or creature cards and exile them. Then shuffle your library. 4 and tap. Choose a card at random that was exiled with Skyship Weatherlight. Put that card into its owner's hand. So you build your own wish board, and you get to pay 4 mana to wish for them. And it's built right in there. You have to do it randomly. There's not more of a perfect card for this deck really than Skyship Weatherlight.
Amazing.
It really it's a risk, but
thematically,
it's fun.
Like just the crew of the Weatherlight, you just take them out of your deck, and then they just keep showing up. That's very cool.
Yeah. And at random, they'll come and help you out again at totally at random. So
It's unfortunate that they come into your hand. It would be like you're paying for, bring them to your
Yeah.
hand, and then you gotta cast them again. Like,
Yeah,
that's a tall order. Like,
it's a lot. It's a lot. You got to pay 8 plus whatever mana the thing you're getting costs to actually get it out. So, look, this isn't the leanest deck in the world. You're gonna pay some mana in this deck. Right. Okay. And then so then we finally have to face the hard questions. Isn't card draw just kind of randomly getting something to your hand? Kind of, right? A little bit. So we do need to have some card draw in this deck. It can't all just be wishing for stuff. We do need to get a little consistency because you want to draw lands, you want to draw your fixing and stuff like that. So we do have a bunch of ways. One of the ones that really works out though is this next card.
Ooh, Whirlwind of Thought, a new one from Ikoria. 1 blue, red, white. It's a Jeskai enchantment. When you cast a non-creature spell, draw a card.
Yeah, straight up. There's a ton of non-creature spells in this deck, and this card just ends up being really, really great. Again, there are other draw spells. I just wanted to highlight this one because it works so well. So the Wishboard itself, right? We're kind of done. This is the kind of skeleton. This is what the deck kind of looks like. What to put in the Wishboard? What should you include? Well, the beautiful thing is that it truly is whatever you want. I've got some suggestions of the types of things to include, but it really is up to you. And you can lean towards a theme. You can totally not lean towards a theme. You can put bad cards in. You can put good cards in. Like, you can do everything. Like, a range of like medium to very good cards would be awesome, I think, because you never know. Yeah, you might be getting a board wipe, or I might be getting Mind Stone. Mind Stone's not bad, but it's like not the card I wanted. If you're up for that feeling, if you're up for that, spin of the wheel, roll of the dice, that can be something you lean towards, right?
That's so fun. Like, such a fun idea. I do remember playing on Arena. Some people invented a best of one deck that had Mastermind's Acquisition. And the whole point was like, well, you can't use a sideboard in best of one unless you can. And then it's just a collection of one-ofs to suit any occasion. It's a very cool feeling to just be like, I got the answer for no matter what if I can pull this off.
Yeah, and that's how I think you would use a wishboarded commander, is like a toolbox thing, right? Any situation, bam, I go get the thing that fits. Well, here this is, you can build it that same way where you're actually putting situational cards in, but I feel like that's actually not going to work out for you because they're going to be random in this weird thing we've done. So you don't want them to be too situational. You just want them to be big. I think you want them to be big effects on the board, and or effects that are going to draw us a million cards, things like that, or just big effects. And what am I talking about? Well, just an example. Okay, Muldrotha, the Gravetide, right? This is a major card, very powerful. 3 black, green, blue for the 6/6 legendary elemental. During each of your turns, you can play up to 1 permanent card of each permanent type from your graveyard. We know Muldrotha's crazy, off the charts good, but it's kind of fun if this is the high end of something you can get, right? This isn't your commander or something like that, so it's not like every game you're going to be using this effect, but kind of interesting. This is kind of inspired by the fact that everyone has a binder of rares, right? Or maybe it's not a binder, a box or what have you, but everyone has a bunch of like good cards where you're like, I'm thinking about building a deck around this. I'm thinking of using this in a deck, but you haven't put anything in yet. Throw it in this wishboard, What's this other one? This next one is an interesting one here.
Oh, you mean, I'm not sure which one.
The
Ankh of Mishra. Right. So this is a 2-mana artifact. It looks like a big face, a goblin face made out of a windmill. But it's whenever a land enters a battlefield, 2 damage to that land's controller.
What? What an interesting effect to have on the game. Like, you're gonna punish the ramp players. People are just gonna be taking damage. It's wild. And if you mix it up, like this is one where if you lean towards like a theme, you can have the wish slowly build up over time. So if we build in this theme of damage, Ankh of Mishra is an interesting one, mana barbs, something like that. You get like a Zozu. All of a sudden you've got this kind of other commander deck, climbing in from your wish board, which is kind of interesting. I don't know, just a thought. And finally, like a really weird effect is like, what if you wish for Pramicon, Sky Rampart, blue, red, white, the legendary wall. It's a 1/5 flying defender. As Pramicon Sky Rampart enters the battlefield, choose left or right. Each player may attack only the nearest opponent in the chosen direction, and planeswalkers controlled by that opponent. Just a major effect on the game, and all of a sudden people have to play around this. If you want to create that, that sort of game warping presence, there's a couple of cards that do that. Maybe that's some stuff you want to throw in your wish board. It can change every game. Maybe your wish board of creatures for one game is, all goblins that have synergistic goblin effects or something. And maybe next game it's all just Eldrazi, because there are some Eldrazi wish cards that I didn't include because they were so specific. But what if all the creatures in your sideboard were Eldrazi? Then those cards all of a sudden become incredible. There's that one that you pay 20 mana and you can put any number of Eldrazi cards like from outside the game either in your hand or on the battlefield. I can't even remember.
Who would design that phrase on a card? Any number you own. It's like, come on, designer.
So it truly is up to you. I wrestled with, was I going to actually make the full wish boards and post the list, and it's like, well, the beauty of it is that it can morph and it can change. It can be whatever you want from game to game. I don't know. Anyways, let's move on. I'm going to thank my Discord helpers, because the ones who showed up and helped were this is a weird deck, and not everyone was like, I don't know. Some people were like, I don't know what to do with this. Do you just want random cards to do random stuff? It's like, yes, well, I do and I don't. I do, and so it was like very, very specific. And once you got past, the wish stuff, there wasn't all that much to really try and think of, but these guys really helped out. The Deech was in there early helping us out. Lolwad, Jamon, Dylan, Spiff, Matt Fox, Madison, Pips Don't Lie, Papadillo. Some of the regulars, some new faces as well. It was a lot of fun, and I really appreciate you sticking through this weird brew. Well, we've thanked the Discord helpers, so let's start talking about how much this is going to cost. Let's do the budget report. Okay, so this is the type of deck where I don't want you to spend a ton of money on it, because it's a really weird deck, and if you are up for something very different like this, I wouldn't suggest blowing $150 on it, $140. But that is kind of how much it costs if you're looking to get all of these effects in. So, okay, let's try and save you some dough here. Right off the bat, the most expensive card that we've included here is the first sliver. So we don't have to have this be our commander straight up. Like I said already, Golos is pretty close to being a random effect and is cheaper and is still very, very good. It's going to help you fix and everything. Pick Golos or any other 5-color commander that you want, and who cares if you cast it, really. Great. Our second most expensive card is one this is one you kind of want, but it's tough. It's getting up there. By the way, first sliver, $14. That's a lot. It's a lot for this commander. We don't need it. Sean, what about the second one?
Karn, the Great Creator, $9.
Yeah. This one's nice because it is repeatable, but that static ability is going to draw a lot of hate, I think. So
I think that's also why it's so expensive.
Oh, for sure. It's played in competitive decks from, I'm sure, Modern and Pioneer and stuff like that. So it's $9, and I don't think you need to spend $9 on it. Finally, it's our boy Bind's Dilation, $7. Again, I saw it up to $9 as well. So, man, this card is, if you don't own one, I do suggest getting one. It's that fun of a card. It's not really powerful. If you pay 7 mana and someone removes this, whatever, you're down 7 mana and you spent your whole turn on it. But when you resolve this and it actually starts happening, it's so fun, and it has an effect on the game, not just for you building up your board and getting to cast these free spells, but everyone's kind of like, "Ooh, what's it gonna be?" You know what I mean? So it does
it's like
have
a buck of
CMC. Yeah, exactly. Every mana you spend is $1.
Oh my gosh, can you imagine? That's an interesting deck brewing restriction. Every card has to be approximately the dollar that is its CMC.
Ooh, weird.
That's
That's
weird.
a weird. Yeah, that is weird. Yeah, a lot of it. Like, there would be a lot of bad cards in that, I think.
But they can't be bad or they wouldn't cost a lot.
No, I mean you have to have bad cards in because they cost. Because otherwise, at certain mana costs, wouldn't it be like? Anyway,
But like, there's not that many bad $5 5-drops.
true. That's true. I was thinking $2 2-drops.
Yeah, there's lots of bad ones of those. I think.
A lot of bad ones of those. Yeah. Anyways, so what about like breaking the budget? What if we wanted to get really wild though? I mean, yeah, then you can include these cards, and you can include something like Urza, Lord High Artificer. 2 blue for the legendary human artificer. Is 1/4. When Urza enters the battlefield, create a 0/0 colorless construct artifact creature token with this creature gets +1/+1 for each artifact you control. Tap an untapped artifact you control to add blue mana, and if that's not enough, pay 5 generic to shuffle your library, then exile the top the top card. Until end of turn, you may play that card without paying its mana cost. So that's the ability that makes it on theme for this deck. We get a random card, truly random, because we can't even fix the top of our library to make sure we get something we want. If we wanted to, we get a random card and we get to cast it for free. We did pay 5 generic mana for it. This card is just super expensive, right? It's like, I don't know, $20-something or something like that. So it's played in modern and whatever, probably played in older formats too, I think. Anyways, but if you want to break the bank, this is one that fits. It's on theme. It's a lot of fun. And it's a really good card. So, hey, maybe you picked one of these up in a draft you did of Modern Horizons. But, TCG low is like $76. You can get it down by just really, making sure you, like, I don't know, cut out the more expensive cards, obviously, but I think in other places than the wishes, because some of the wishes are kind of the ones that are going to cost you a few bucks. So, just make sure you're picking mana rocks like Spinning Wheel and not Chromatic Lantern, even though that's the one you really want. You know what, Sean? I think it's that time. I do believe that it is time for us to get our tuxedos on and to visit the Kodak Theater in lovely Hollywood, California for the Odrics. Okay. Yes. All right. Here we are, Sean. Welcome. Beautiful crowd again. It's so nice to see everyone.
That's really great to see. Zergo Helm Smasher, thank you for putting a tie on. It's great to see you.
Oh yeah. Hey, there's Kalia of the Vast. She couldn't decide, so she's got all different types of wings on. Really great. She's got the demon, the dragon, the angel wings all rocking. That's really nice.
Lovely to see you. And Jennifer Lawrence, hello.
Hello, J-Law. I just watched X-Men Dark Phoenix, and it was quite bad. Okay.
Sorry for calling that out on this show.
I did have to. I felt like I had to tell
presenting.
You that. Sorry. We're really roasting you at these awards.
Back to you, Kalia. The new version of you kind of sucks. Okay, now we're...
Not nearly as good. Okay. Okay, so...
it is my honor to present the award for the What Are You Even Doing award. And that Odric goes to Research and Development.
Oh, wonderful. Yeah, what are you even doing?
I guess looking at a microscope and then getting a shadow on fire.
Yeah, I mean, like, you just cast this card. What are you even doing? Because in this deck, you're going to cast Research, which is green-blue. It's a split card, by the way. It's green blue and researches the instant that says choose up to 4 cards you own from outside the game and shuffle them into your library. So, really, do nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the development side, I don't know. It has nothing to do with what we're doing. 3 blue red instant, create a 3/1 red elemental creature token unless any opponent has you draw a card. Repeat this process 2 more times. So you had a couple elementals, maybe you draw some cards. But research, you paid 2 mana and really didn't do much. So what are you doing? Great. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for being here. Research and development. We really do appreciate it. This next award is one that I'm happy and honored to present. It's the Old Minotaur Yells at Cloud Award, and as you know, past winners include Neheb, and the guy who was playing the didgeridoo on Didgeridoo. But this year, the winner of the Old Minotaur Yells at Cloud Award goes to Dream Shaper Shaman. Yes. Congratulations, Dream Shaper Shaman.
Congratulations.
You definitely are shaking your fist at probably a cloud in this picture, because there are definitely clouds behind you and you're definitely angrily shaking your fist at something.
Just remember to all those watching out there, if you dream big, you might also win an Odric.
You might win an Odric. Thank you for being here. Good night. And in real life, goodbye. Thank you for watching and listening to the show this week. We had a blast. It's a weird and wild deck, and I hope that if nothing else, you consider the idea of randomizing some deck you have and having fun with it. Again, thanks to our sponsors. Check them out. Go to wizardtower.com. If you're in Canada, you're going to be able to get a little slice off your singles order there by using our coupon code, which is BrewDouble these days. And if you're outside of Canada, TCG Player has got you hooked up. Follow our affiliate link down there, and it's going to be in the show notes or below the video on the YouTube. Follow that link. Any purchases you make there, after that, are gonna help support the show. And big thanks to both of our sponsors for supporting the show. Great. Another week, another deck. See you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for watching. If you love what we're doing, consider supporting the show by going to patreon.com/commandersbrew.
And if you want to get any of the cards from our deck list, go to our TCG Player affiliate link below.
That helps us out too, and for a free way to help us out, consider sharing the show with some friends. Like and subscribe, add a comment or two.
See you later.
Bye.